Ahora, silly smoke that. I did it again. La 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 loca. La 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 loca. God is an order. La 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 loca. La 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 loca. La 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 loca. God is an order. La 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 loca. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, people try to pull you in this crazy game. Now look, I'm bringing out all the facts and the flame, supporting coming out from each and way. The lead is intimidating, I play no games. Now look, I got your back, so watch out for the flames. It's hammer times on this crazy brains. Now look, I gave him order even on a sunny day. The lead is in the house, there's no reason why we stay. We support and rock with no crazy lazy way. There's nothing you can do, so blame it on the game. And if it's hard for you, just please step away. There's nothing you can do, we are Loca all the way. The unreal on YouTube kids crazy every day. Loca is the god of putting order in this flame. And all the leaders say la 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 Loca. God is an order. La 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 Loca. La 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 Loca. La 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 Loca. God is an order. La 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 Loca. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, la 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 loca, la 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 loca. God is an order, la 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 loca.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year's Eve. Hammer. Listen, I want to give a special shout out to Queenie. Queenie, you can probably hear all of that breaking up down around there to the respiratory system. I'm so grateful for you, my beautiful sister. Thank you, Queen in the damn salads. You understand me? I want to shout out all of the ladies in the room. Y'all, happy freaking New Year's Eve. Now, I know I'm a little delayed. Because I got a surprise for y'all. But we got to come out. You know, with the Libra, it's all about balance, okay? So we're gonna deal with a little bit of the dark side, but we got to get the good part out first. And so I wouldn't be Loca if I didn't come around here and teach a couple things on the New Year's Eve. Teach what the true, real tradition is and the meaning is of the ancients, how they celebrated. What did our ancestors do, right? We're going to get all that out around here to the Locaville. We got to enforce some New Year's responsibilities around here to the channel, okay? We got some new things coming on. So I'm going to wait for a couple of my mods to get up in here, but I'm so glad to see y'all. It's around about 4 o'clock, about a quarter after 4 here where I am. I've been running around getting food, buying party favors, because tonight I will be celebrating with my family. Now, I know y'all know that y'all are considered a portion of my family, my new found virtual family. Flame it up for yourself. When I say that, I mean that, okay? I don't just mean it, you know, in a way to make it sound good. I mean it in a way that I can't stay away for no longer than 2 or 3 days. Even when I call myself, you know, taking a break, you know, I have really built a likeness and gotten very fond of my channel and the people that join me on it. And so, you know, it's all about understanding. It's all about communication. So around here on this midday show, we're going to dialogue. We're going to sum up some things, okay? We just waiting for a couple of mods. Now, if they busy, because I do understand other people like myself have been out busy trying to take care of things to sum up the new year, right? To round things up. Capricorn season, Capricorn energy. Capricorns are very hard workers, very determined little cookies and crackers. Okay. And so goal setters, by the way, but very short-term goal. They'll start out and say, I want this, but they don't want it to take long. A lot of Capricorns like quick gratification, quick results. And so that's probably the energy that some of you all are feeling right now. I know I have caught a small little whiff of it. Shout out to my finest wine. Happy New Year, baby. Shout out to Spiky, Charlie, Sugar Cube. Yes, y'all enjoyed these shout outs because it will change. Shout out to Goop Doop, Miss Jacqueline, Rochelle. Stand up for the one time. We in here. I'm trying to get my shout out on. Okay. Shout out to Lucy. Hey, boo boo. Happy New Year to everybody up in the building. Shout out to Miss Roslyn. Shout out to Star Angel. Mystic. Listen. So tonight, okay. Now I know we're all on. Shout out to Goop Doop and Goop Doop. Listen, much love to you. Happy New Year, little lady. Yes, my little sister. Okay. Shout out to Queen in the Salads for the one time. Shout out to my virtual internet mama, Miss Debbie. Hey, Miss Jackie. Long time no see. I love you, girl, virtually. Shout out to Rochelle. Shout out to Skookie's Lidimon 69. Shout out to Noondi and Skookie. Skookie is my nephew. So handsome, so smart, and spoiled rotten. Shout out to Olander. Okay. Everybody, I'm wishing a happy new year because you need it. You need that wish. Not only do you need that wish, but you need to exercise that wish. Turn that wish into a prophecy. Turn that wish into a testimony. Turn that wish into an in the now moment. Shout out to Lily, Miss Jacqueline. Yes. Listen, y'all. So tonight, even though we are on different time schedules, okay, shout out to Rob and Annie. Much love. I know everybody is on different time frames, and that's okay. Because wherever you are, according to your tradition, according to your nationality, your race, even the region where you live at may be dependent on how you celebrate or what some of these holidays or so-called endings or new beginnings of the year mean to you. Shout out to John, y'all. Love you, sis. Listen, now, I'm no party pooper, but I always like to iterate the truth. Okay, so I'm gonna give people time to thumbs up this video. Let me see if I can get in touch with some mods. I'll be right back. Thumbs me up for the one time. We in here. If my sis Silas Mukbang catches this video, happy New Year's to you. A very prosperous and grand New Year's, all the way over there in Holland, in Amsterdam, over in Europe. Happy New Year's to our foreign sis. Okay, Happy New Year's to Kay up in the building. Listen, depending on what nationality you are, depending on what region you live in, what is your religious beliefs? Some people may celebrate the holiday. Some people may not. Now, a quick little recap about myself, okay? We are living in a Roman Catholic time, okay? We learned a long time ago that the Grecians gathered up with the Persians, aligned up with the Romans, and after attempt, they conquered one of the most high vibrating cultures in the world. The first people to ever cultivate the world, okay? That would be the Egyptians, okay? But the Egyptians knew something that we didn't know, right? They understood things that we don't quite understand. Because we don't vibrate, shout out to T and Michelle, Happy New Year, baby. Because we do not vibrate on the same degree that they did in that time. Keep in mind, they had technology that we do not have in this day. We are still trying to catch up with the technology that was introduced to this land, to this earth, Mother Earth, before, man was even here. There was already technology from the beginning of mankind. The first people to cultivate the earth, to cultivate the world, they understood technology. They are the creators of technology. Okay. And so how is that? Shout out to Renee. Happy New Year, baby. And Charlie. How is that? How were they able to advance us technically in those days? It must have been magic. Okay. And so that right there confirms they have found boats. They even found cocaine. They found, I mean, that's crazy, but these are all proven facts that you can do your own research, because we don't have a lot of time, because I'm just going to balance this thing here out. Around here to my channels, you know that there has to be a balance, okay? And so I got to get this knowledge out before I hit y'all with the Liddy style New Year's celebration. And we're going to have to conduct that celebration earlier than normal, because contrary to popular belief, my reason for being delayed with the midday show is because I'm busy. I have an actual family. I have people that love me, and I do have a life. I'm a bad bitch, okay? And so, I got to swat them off of me from time to time. But we're going to make time today, and later on tonight, I do plan on celebrating in my real life. But my New Year's Eve would not be complete without celebrating with the people who have changed my perspective about the internet, celebrating with the people who have changed my social like behavior on the internet, my social equality. Okay, there is a big difference from now than this time last year. My views, my outlook on the people on the internet. And so, in other words, you guys have changed my life, my vision, my view. There is a feeling deep down within. There is a no. And y'all know that when it comes to discernment, I don't play around. Things are about to change. Okay. Now, I have heard, a lot of slick little things. And y'all know that around here to the Locaville, no sin goes unpunished. We might not get you when you think so. We might not retaliate or respond when you feel like, or they feel like it's necessary. But anybody that knows us knows that we're going to get you. We're going to respond, and eventually you will be dealt with. Okay. But first things first. Now, there was some speculation about certain channels trying to make fun of one of our word round there to the curbs and the Liddyville vehicle. Okay. They had pulled out old beat up explorer, one of the investigators sent me the picture. I would advise that investigator to send it back to that bitch and tell her that is her car for the future involving her karma. You got to be careful about the things that you play around with. You never know when you are speaking some things into your own future, especially when you are a rotten spider monkey, okay, with balding edges, with the head of a plastic doll. Okay. But anyway, I did want to introduce you all to the Liddy vehicle. Welcome to our spaceships. Those would be the Liddy vehicles, bitch. Oh, not only are we being moderated by upper echelon, but you are a part of one of the coldest, most knowledgeable, most humorous channels in the sector. You are a part of the very same person who created this motherfucking sector. And so if anybody would be riding around in a beat up, funky ass Explorer, it would be the bitch who's playing the games and putting it on her video. What a miserable, black-eyed, skinny, mule head, donkey face bitch. And so if you ever decide to put up our vehicle, make sure it looks like this. We're riding around in spaceships, bitch. We are above and beyond. You understand me? You already know that, though. That's why you went out of your way. Now, the reason why we're in spaceships is because we can do the shit that they can't do. Not only is our name Loca, which means different, bitch. Nothing more, nothing less. Not only are we different in the best way possible, but we rise above. We supersede you hoes. Yep, from the Rudy to the Tootie. Y'all know that. Uh-huh. And we're going to do that right with this example now of this video, right? Because all you bitches can do is come out and copy everything that Loca does, come out and imitate everything that the Liddies do, try to insult us, slander us, yet we continue to rise. None of your bags, not even the people that we talk about, not even the bigger YouTubers, are bigger than ours. We have made more moolah right here on this channel, not even being monetized, than you have in all of your 27,000 or 18,000 subscribers. Big bank take little bank all day long, and that is why they mad. Now, one of my moderators had to stop me from showing off a little bit because I like to show out from time to time. I have to put my foot round there to the neck of these hoes who like to underestimate us and slander us when they wish, they only wish, they wish. And they wouldn't dare want to put their mouth on us when they can't touch us. And so I want them to take a good look at these spaceships, because these spaceships are a symbol of what's to come. Everything that we've ever called out right here on this channel has surfaced right in front of our eyes. Every bit of it. Every time. And what hasn't come to fruition will in due time. We know they don't like that. We know they hate it. It's too fucking bad, though. Because the feeling that I have in my spirit, the vision that was given to me, is way beyond these heifers and hoes could ever see. We are in the process of elevation. We are transitioning to the big spot. And all of those ladies, OGs and new, that joined me on this journey, that started off with me, stand up in the chat because I see you. I'm going to take y'all with me. You're going with me. You have no choice but to go with me. Even the ones, all of our haters who have gathered up together to slander and harass, call us names. Some of the ones that were our very biggest fans and supporters over here. The moment that they get the boot, they go round there to the crybaby section of the Beloved Up sector and join the Hate on Loca club simply because they got the boot, because they can't be a part. We understand. But in this new and up and coming year, everybody has an opportunity to mind their business. Stop trying to be like Loca and be yourself. Figure out who the hell you are and why are you here other than to torture, copy, slander, harass, and mock. You're a failure. You know that. That's why as a legion, you have to attach yourself to the notoriety and credibility of someone else's name, try to steal their light when at the end of the day, you will be left so far behind in the dust, your shadow won't even be able to find you. So with that being said, let's learn a little bit about the true way that a goddess will entertain the idea of these paganized New Age holidays, but still respect and honor the old school tradition of our ancestors, the real way to celebrate the new year, the real time of the new year. Let's get into it. This is going to be a brief midday show. Okay. Now, first, I want to introduce you guys to the animals of ancient Egypt. Now, I might have to move this banner really quick, and I don't have a problem with that. Shout out to everybody. Listen, I got a gift for y'all because y'all showed out last night. I want to give a special shout out to everybody that was in that live. Y'all know I had a fever of about 100.1 yesterday when we were doing that live. And anybody that listens to me on a regular, you can probably hear some, some stuffiness or grambling around there to the nose and things. Okay. But we pushed through that live. That live was amazing. And I'm proud. I'm proud of y'all. I'm proud of us as a collective. Shout out to everybody that participated in that live. How many mods do we have in here right about now? Because I have to make a couple of announcements. I'm still going out. I feel good today. You understand me? It's all good. Don't worry. Let's celebrate. I'm good. I'm dressed. I look cute. I just sound bad. I feel good. I can breathe. Okay. I have wonderful supporters that have great discernment, some type of empathic technology that have sent me ionizing machines. And I'm good. Okay. I am grand as a matter of fact, but I do appreciate the concern. So it looks like only Liddyville is up in there. Wow. Liddyville, much love to you. Okay, let's just blame it on the holidays. Happy holidays to PV, Multicolor, Kim Cole, okay, Jill, yes, Happy New Year. Tammy, yes. So you have the crocodile. You have what looks like the bobcat. You have your ancient parrot. You have an ancient bird, which is familiar like a swan. You have your jackal. Looks like we have a hippo up here. A hippo is an iconic ancient animal. And they don't even know it. You have a bird that I can't see the name of it. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't see the name of that bird. You have the cobra. You have what looks like to be a pelican. Of course, the lion. You have the cow and a frog. Those were all ancient animals that were acknowledged and cared for by the ancient Egyptians. Okay. Now, a lot of you might be saying, what does that have to do with the new year? Well, we're getting there. Okay. You see, in this day, because your ancestors were conquered by the Romans, okay, the British conquering, which is the Romans, right? They gathered up with the Persians and the Grecians and stayed around from generation after generation, worked in the kingdom as slaves, snuck around, incorporating themselves with the magical, potent DNA of the first people to dwell this land. They used their women to entice the men, so that they would be craving of them, so that they would want to mate with them, so that they could mix the DNA and impurify the magic. Poison, pervert the DNA. You see, way back then, the ancients knew that it was very important to keep the DNA pure. Now, you will hear some stories of bloodline marriages. That is a myth. The ancient Egyptians knew not to marry their sisters and brothers, cousins, aunts, and uncles. It was not until the conquering and the more recent dynasties of other nations that came in and incorporated themselves as kings and queens, which would have consisted of other nationalities and other races, did the perversion and ancestral events occur. Get that straight. Okay. But back in them days, okay, the Egyptians had a very strict way of doing things. The Egyptians based their calendar, which was a calendar of astrology. How many of you all remember me mentioning this? Take a look at the first clock of time. Before you have that clock of astrology that I mentioned to you throughout the last couple of weeks, preparing your mind for this particular time. Before the conquering of the Roman, which to this very day, you watch a Roman numerical clock, Roman numbers. Roman numbers. The Roman number, the Roman face clock, the Roman numerical clock that you watch and calculate time by every day is a token of the conquering of your ancestors. Before you have a replica of the original wheel of astrology, which is the first calculation of time, dealing with the zodiac and energy only. In the middle, you see the sun. Right. And depending on how the wheel of astrology spins, is pertaining and according to how the light bends on you. All you have to do is use your imagination. Place your actual birthday on the clock of astrology. And you will be amazed at how you can calculate the time and all of your angles. What house is your emotional Richter based on? What house is your response Richter based on? What house is your perception angle based on? This is the clock of astrology. The first clock ever. There are no numbers involved, only symbols of animals and planets. When you become conscious and you learn how to read this clock of astrology, it is amazing. This is the clock that they don't want you to know about. This is the clock that you only will see mostly tarot readers and psychics or energy readers use. They know a portion of the magic. And as we mentioned before, astrology or tarot cards for that matter are not just based on negative, dark, wicked, criteria. It's all about the person that is reading the energy and the intentions of why they're doing it. Anything, any symbol can be used to read energy. It doesn't have to just be cards. Okay. There are other ways to read energy as well. And so The ancients based everything upon this wheel of astrology, using no numbers and barely using language to communicate. And believe it or not, their days or calculation of days and celebrations of certain times, beginnings and endings, was nothing anywhere, nowhere near what you know to be a holiday in this day. Not the same dates. Just like Christmas is not the so-called Jesus's birthday, right? All of these things are Roman Catholical based metaphors. Okay. As a matter of fact, the magic, the knowledge is so potent that some minds cannot even grasp it, which is how your scriptures came about. Keeping in mind that everything that is in the scriptures that people use today that they call their Bible, which I have one here, don't get it twisted, okay? But the Bible is the man-made. It is, watered down, but they got all of the scriptures that are in the Bible straight from the Egyptian temples, and they put it in a Masonic code so that it is confusing. You can read the scriptures 35,000 times and still probably not understand it or receive every message that you need to receive. And so why would the one true word be confusing? Well, it has been tainted. But it's okay. There is a way to find out the truth. But you have to start with the core. And you have to learn what the original dates were. And what did the ancient people study? Well, I can tell you it wasn't a calendar. The ancient Egyptians based their holidays and or their counting of the rising of the sun, the dropping of the moon. They studied a lunar calendar. They studied the stars. When the stars popped up, when the stars disappeared, when the Nile River ran, when the foliage died, when the moon rised, the certain phases of the moon. This is how the ancients calculated time and the days, not by numbers, even though everything is based off of numbers. But as I mentioned, everything numerical that you use today is based off of a Roman Catholic conquering. And so every time you refer to a clock like I do, you do, we cannot help it. It is the only thing that we know because it has been instilled in us that this is the way. Father time, numbers. But it is not the original way. How did the ancient Egyptians celebrate the new year? The ancient Egyptian culture was closely related to the Nile River. Their New Year seems to respond or correspond to its annual flood. It corresponds according to the flood. When the Nile River ran, that's how the Egyptians knew when it was time to start marking down certain times of the year. Keep in mind, everything was based off of how the water flowed and the moon phased. The Egyptian New Year was predicted when the Sirius star would become the brightest in the night, visible for the first time after an absence of 70 days. So your ancients studied the sky. They had no telescope. They had no calendar. They went strictly by the phases of the moon and the counting of the stars. When the stars popped up, when the stars disappeared, this is how they calculated time. And according to what goes on in the sky would be a result of what went on down here on earth. When the Sirius star popped up after 70 days, the Nile River would flood and flow, providing water for the land to grow food. The phenomenon known as the solar rise usually occurred in mid-July, before the annual flooding of the Nile, helping to ensure that farmland remained fertile for the next year. So please understand that your ancient Egyptians celebrated the new year in July. Egyptians celebrated this new beginning with a special festival known as Wepet Renpit. Wepet Renpit, which translates to the opening of the year. The new year was seen as a time of rebirth and rejuvenation, and was honored with special religious feasts and rituals. Okay. Now, in recent discoveries in the Temple of Mut, it shows that during the reign of the Hatsutit, now you got to know how to pronounce these words because they're not English words, they are Egyptian words, okay? The temple hosted a huge festival during the first month of the year, which would have been in July. The festival was associated with the legend of Sekhmet, the goddess of war, who planned to kill all mankind until a god deceived her. The honor of salvation of mankind, the Egyptians celebrated with music and clamor. Those were your people. To this very same day as the Nietzsche, you need music. And don't you ever think that the Egyptians did not drink beer made out of yeast and wheat. They made beer, they made alcohol, they drank wine, and they love music. Them is your peoples. Those are your ancestors. Thank you, Lizzie. I love you. And so be not fooled by this Roman Catholic deception of time. You have been deceived. It is not the new year. The new year has passed. The new year is abroad when the spring comes around, when your plants start to refurbish, when your leaves come back on the trees. When the days are long is a representative of the new year. When the grass grows green and beautiful, when the flowers are bright and bold. It's already placed in your heart when the new year should be. But because it has been instilled in you that in this cold season of winter, this is the new year. No, ma'am, and no, sir, you have been deceived. However, in this Roman Catholic time, you have no choice, because when in Rome, what did the saying that they created? When in Rome, and you are in Rome, do as the Romans do. But the very same scriptures that you call your Bible tells you that the word is embedded in your heart. The truth, the seed is already planted in your heart. Think about that feeling that you get as a Niji when that sun comes out. Think about your spirit and how it is cleansed when you see the beautiful flowers and the trees and you hear the birds and the animals running wild. When you see a beautiful flow of water, it cleanses your spirit and your soul. You should already be in touch with nature because you and nature are one. You and nature are one. And so when you become conscious, you learn that your spirit will tell you what the truth is. But because we have been robotized, humans that have turned into some type of a robot, because we have to hear it from somebody else. We have to see it in order to believe it. We are less in contact with our spirit and more in tune with what we are told and showed instead of knowing the truth that comes from our heart. And so a lot of people will rebuke this truth, and that's okay. Pity on them. That's too bad. But please know that your ancestors knew when the rejuvenation of the land was, when the new year was abroad, and it had nothing to do with the month of December or January. This is actually a time of hibernation, and anybody of melanin should not even be in a city or state that even conducts a winter season. Most people with melanin in their skin need to dwell in the lands between Cancer and Capricorn, which means that it is sunny all year round. You need the sun. You need the vision to feed your spirit, to keep you happy, to keep you at your highest vibration, but you don't know no better. This is why I'm here, to help remind you, to ignite your DNA, to remind you that there were a people before you that they told you were all dead. They died. They just all were wiped out. Yet, when we listen to the story of some of the greatest people, the first people to ever dwell this land, as we begin to learn more information, as our DNA becomes more ignited, it starts to resonate more in our spirit that these people that they call the Egyptians sound and resemble us. Right. And so, using this clock of astrology, you learn that not only does the earth give you a hint of when the new year is abroad, because remember, the Creator's calendar consists of no more than 30 days. 30 days, not 29, not 31. And at the crack of the sun would be the beginning of the day, and at the dusk of the dawn would be the end. When the sun goes down, the day is over. There was never a mixture or a blend of morning and night. The night was the night because the sun was gone. When the moon rises, the night starts. But you experience both the night and the dark, which is why there's always a jerk of emotion. There's always a bit of confusion in the spirit, because we don't even respect the difference between night and day. We already confirmed that wicked and evil is conducted in the dawns, in the darks of the night. The day brings light, love, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The dark brings confusion, wickedness, and deception. And so as a land dweller, as a part of this earth, when you put your spirit through that, you must inherit the consequences that come along with it. Right. Shout out to all my ladies in the room. We are just exercising goddess-like skills and enlightening Liddyville about what the true date is, the true time of the new year is. Right. Please thumbs up this video for the one time if you don't mind. I want you to take a look at one of the Egyptian temples, the same temple that the Romans went and plagiarized and copied some scriptures of the Bible. This is the place where the one true word was conducted. This is the place where nations upon nations would walk. They would ride horses. They would build boats and ships to come all the way across the country. They would climb mountains and dig through valleys so they could make it to the promised land. The promised land was Egypt in those times. They wanted to go to the place where there was gold and diamonds, kings and queens, where people wore shoes and used spoons and forks drunk out of glasses. They wore jewelry. They had a language. They possessed a magic. The magic potion of life. And so when you look at these temples, it's important that you understand that the word, the very same word that has been twisted and turned, a little bit taken from it, a little bit added to it to benefit the people that have deceived you in this day. The very same people that made you believe that the clock that contains numbers, numerical forms, is what you should base your life on. These are the Egyptian temples where your ancestors dwelt. This would be one of the places where everybody would gather in July for the new year and feast, drink, dance, live, celebrate. Just like we do in this day. Let's look at another temple. Does this not look like what your peoples still do in this day? Only your peoples could create something this beautiful. Only you. You still possess a certain type of magic to this day. All of you. Every last one of you is something about you that's different, that's holy from them. It is the spirit. Look at it. Take a good look. The temples that they have tried to destroy over and over again and still cannot destroy it. The pyramids that they have tried to duplicate over and over again, but still cannot duplicate them. But one thing they do have is the magic. They possess the knowledge that they have spent millions and trillions of dollars on to keep you from learning, to deceive you, to keep you celebrating their paganized holidays, incorporating your hard-earned dollars into their economy to keep them rich and you struggling. When everything you need to celebrate is right in front of you. And so, just like the ancient Egyptians did, gather up your family and your loved ones. Tell stories about your ancestors. Be a part of the spacecraft. Think about the new year and when the real time was that your ancestors celebrated. These spacecrafts were around from the beginning of time. These spacecrafts were used back in the ancient Egyptians' times, in the very beginning of time. How is that? It must be magic. The problem is that you don't possess it anymore. Unless you know the entire formula, the magic won't work. You've got to know the truth, the whole truth, and the entire part of it, the entire story, in order for the magic to be effective. Which means that you have to do the work. It's your job to go find the truth. And so now that we know that the new year was celebrated in the spring and the summer, we can enjoy this holiday now, y'all. Okay? It's okay, because now we know. It's just like I told y'all with Christmas. Y'all know that I've been conscious. It's going on 6 years now, 5 years. But I've always had a little something else going on since a young girl. Okay? I never believed none of it. Never believed it. It didn't matter if I got a whooping. It didn't matter if people said, well, what's wrong with her? I didn't care. If it didn't make sense, I didn't believe it. There was always something spiritual going on with me. But it was also embedded in my DNA. Started from someone grander than I'm going to say myself. And so this is a passed on thing. This is an inherited gift, so to speak. And I'm going ahead and claim it today. Thank you, holy heavens, for the gift of discernment, for the gift of understanding. The Egyptians celebrated their transition into the new year with lots of food and alcohol. Don't that sound like you? And coincidentally, the festival was celebrated around the same time when the flooding of the Nile River occurred each year. The Egyptians would welcome in a new year on the first day of the agricultural year, okay? Whenever things started to grow, that was the new year, between July and springtime, even on down to September, just depended on when the Nile flooded. But you can best believe it wasn't in the wintertime. It had nothing to do with January. Celebrated the completion of the flood season of the Nile, which was the symbol of life, growth, and fertility. The symbol of life, growth, and fertility in ancient Egypt. Don't forget that the representator of life, which is that Ankh. That's where the play of your cross comes from. It is a paganized form of the true form art of life, the representation of the womb, the Ankh. To be reborn is to be back in your mother's womb. You understand that? The Ankh, representation of life, the divine feminine. There is no earth without the woman. She is the founder. The Egyptians enjoyed celebrating a number of holidays and festivals throughout the year. They celebrated with games, large food banquets, and parties. Many of their festivals was based upon either the timing of the lunar calendar or the flooding of the Nile. Okay. Thank you, Miss Amira. Eventually, the Egyptians also realized that the Sirius star, and in Egyptian language, it would have been called the Sabdet. The Sabdet would rise more or less in the same time every year, which for between 3000 through 2500 BC was in late June, early July, with the inundation usually happening shortly thereafter. The Egyptians, this was the new year, and it was celebrated with a festival, okay? So as Nijis, as the descendants of the Egyptians, we living in a paganized world. We don't know how much time we got. We are in a race against time. And so I understand that we must celebrate. We in Rome, we got to do what the Romans do. But deep down in our heart, we know the truth. We know that this is not the new year, not for us. It may be the new year for the deceivers. This could possibly be the new year for the intruders, the thieves, the liars, the enemy. But it's not the new year for the original people, the original cultivators of this earth, this land, the true gods and goddesses, the real kings and queens. We're just playing a game, their game. It's all an act. We know better, right? Right. And so with that being said, Happy New Year to all my ladies. Now that we know the truth, we will enjoy this day just like every other day without ever forgetting the truth. What was will once be again. Whom that was first will be last. But we cannot transcend without knowing the truth. And so I want y'all to meet me on the main thing. Because it wouldn't be a so-called New Year's Eve without a small celebration with my ladies. Y'all know I fucking love y'all, okay? I want y'all to meet me on the main channel in a little bit here for the final rip purging season.
Silly smoke bag. I did it again. La 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 loca. La 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 loca. God is order. La 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 loca. La 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 loca. La 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 loca. God is order. La 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 loca. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, people try to pull you in this crazy game. Now look, I'm bringing out all the facts and the flame, supporting coming out from each and way. The ladies in the bidding, I play no games. Now look, I got you back, so watch out for the flames. It's hammer times on this crazy train. Now look, I giving order even on a sunny day. The ladies in the house, there's no reason why we stay. We support and rock with no crazy lazy way. There's nothing you can do, so blame it on the game. And if it's hard for you, just please step away. There's nothing you can do, we are Loca all the way. The unreal and little kids crazy every day. Loca is the god of putting order in this flame. And all the ladies say la 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 loca. La 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 loca. God is an order. La 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 loca. La 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 loca. La 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 loca. God is an order. La 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 loca. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, la 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 loca, la 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 loca. God is an order, la 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 loca.
Meet me on the main channel. And until next time, I holla. Happy New Year, y'all. Much love.